um, floating on a moonbeam, if I just call on spirit, it'll happen. You're also actually doing the work here and doing the very grounded work, and I believe that's why people are really taking to you, because they're seeing not just the vision, the dreams, but also the solidity, the groundedness in what you're doing, and that's what's going to propel this forward. More workshops to come is the message there, and certainly more exposure and one-to-ones going through there. I'm seeing more corporate contracts too, as if we're dealing with business people more. And it's like whether we're going into the corporate setting and dealing with a number of people, like you're visiting the office whole heap of people, or whether it's that you're having that liaison with groups in here. But that sort of feels positive to me with you. You also asked about your soulmate. I do believe that you're very good at getting along. I was just seeing a gherkin, sorry, pickles. I don't understand, sometimes we're in a pickle. Okay, thanks. My guys like to give me Sudoku puzzles, so I don't ever get dementia, by the way. Is it kind of cryptic? It's whatever pickle we think we're in, we're rolling and sorting that out. And I do feel that the minor irritations we get at times, you're able to also sort of, get back to the basics of what that really is that's going on for you at the time, because it's certainly not really about this not working. Is just about frustrations at that time, or there's some energy moving through you, and you'll find that the energy doesn't just move through you, it moves through your partner. So sometimes, there'll be a certain thing he'll say and he doesn't know that he knows that he knows, but there's something he's processing that's actually like a shining light for you of, oh, that's what I needed to understand for this situation that's about to happen. So sometimes he's actually processing stuff as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So with regard, one other question I didn't ask, if I may I add one more?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I'm over here on a tourist visa because of my partner's work, and I'm looking at the direction I need to go so that I can get into the US market, because I think not just Australia needs it, as well as the US people need it as well. And, it's more sort of around direction with that, So
that's where I'm actually feeling. Is that like a B? Is the numbers B1N1 or something? I don't quite understand that.
B1, B2 I'm on at the moment, but I'm looking at like a business visa, whether I set up a business over here, because we're only here for 2 years. So I'm sort of somewhere.
There's contracts there. There are contracts there for you, Dal. That's what it feels like. And I actually also feel, strangely enough, there's trips backwards and forwards to Canada involved in this as well.
Right,
when I say involved in this, it's involved in the bigger picture of this. But the collaboration, it's like you working with someone else close to you that's over there, that is US-based, that you've come into contact with, and it's like we're able to work this together. There are certain ways we can work in the US, when we've got an agent, and it's amazing how quick that can happen, because suddenly that visa can change very quickly. It's all about having the right people and the earth angels around you, which I do feel you're getting very soon, but certainly it takes a while to, because with the US, you've got to do reconnaissance, honey. Because really it's a very different landscape in how people do business. And I have a lot of clients. I've got a lot of clients in the US, and it's amazing how quick doors open. And the thing to understand is that certainly in the entertainment industry, the door opens for everyone once, and depending on what you do when it's open depends on whether it opens again. So, I think the thing is you've got good people around you, and there's going to be opportunity here, and it's about 3 months away. And as I said, I'm seeing the stuff I was saying. I feel like it's coming. We've just got to kind of hang in there for it. And you are a guiding light in the work you're doing. So I do think that can't help but find its way.
Yeah, I think I'm actually a medium myself, but it's very hard to pull through information. So you've been very accurate with everything that you've said. So I'm a life coach as well, but I work with victims of violence. So it's about bringing in a bigger picture for the world, if you know what I mean, and how to heal through that process.
Absolutely. And And it's interesting because, that really relates today, even astrologically, if we look at what's going on right now and your call on this show today. I actually also think, have you already got contacts in Hong Kong? Because if you haven't, there will be, but I'm feeling that energy there as well. So it's just going to be about you continuing to spread those wings out further and further and further. And then, if you get a bit, fatigue, breathe, pull it back in for a minute, assess, have a look at how far you come, and then step back into it again. It was 25 years ago I saw myself on a magazine cover and thought that I was having an ego attack. And what the hell would I be in yellow, red and black anyway, because in clothing and a magazine cover, and I actually relate to those colours really quite strongly. They're in the Indigenous flag after all, but I wasn't expecting to be sitting there on a magazine cover looking like that, and I was thinking I was absolutely bonkers. And it was 2010 that was actual cover, and I was asked to be on a cover, and I thought, yay, purple background, no, yellow. And so I had a few different clothing choices, and one of them was red and black, and here I am on the cover with yellow, red and black, and going, that's the cover.
I'm by spirit and driven by it, so doing my life sort of purpose.
You're also driven by practicality. And at the time, I was a dyslexic who'd never written a thing when I saw that vision. And now I write cover stories all the time. It's sort of, normal. But the reason I'm giving you that is because you've had similar visions of a similar scale. You've got bigger visions coming in now. You've just got to kind of keep running with them, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, which I'm happy to do.
You keep going. That's it. And do the practicality behind it. And while you're not working, write. While you're not working, breathe. While you're not working, meditate. And it's all going to come together in good time. So, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll have to catch up with you, actually, because I might have you as a guest on the show. That can be a first US gig.
I'd love to. It's my pleasure.
Easy done, darling. Lovely speaking with you, and lovely also speaking today. Thank you. And thank you also, Jasmine. And just stay tuned to A1R Psychic Radio. There'll be more readings tonight and on Moonstruck TV on all of the different apps and platforms. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to catch you next week. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.
To A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome.
Time for Sapphire Souls with Amber Price. Live from amber-price.com.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites,
askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv.
This is Sapphire Soul
on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to be joining you today with Sapphire Souls. I'm Amber Price. Thank you so much for joining me in this welcoming community. I am so happy to bring you some messages today. First, I want to start with introducing myself. I'm living in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, and I have 5 children, and I'm living here with my husband. We have 1 grandbaby and another one on the way any day now. So it's quite busy here in the Price household, but not too busy to be able to spread some light in the community. So today, I just wanted to give you a couple little insights into who I am and how I got here. So I started doing this work professionally a few years ago. And it kind of came about in a very interesting way because I didn't actually plan on being a psychic medium for my life. If you can imagine, most of us don't, right? It kind of something you're stumbled upon, and the universe is kind of giving you that direction and guidance to be able to come and join this work. So originally, I had done a lot of work in the healthcare industry in administration. And so I ended up continuing that work and really finding more and more that I went on that I just needed to do this. So my earliest memory was when I was about 4 years old, around kindergarten time. And that's when I really started recognizing that I didn't actually believe that I was alone. I knew it was an imaginary friend, but I did know that the energy that was around me, I felt like I wasn't alone, and that, I really felt comforted by it. It never did scare me. And then fast forward to about 12 years old, and luckily some pioneers in the industry were already on television and sharing some information educationally about this type of work. And I was able to, through that, really understand who I was and what I was doing. And so from there at 12, you can imagine I didn't understand very much about it, but I did know I wasn't alone and that other people did feel the same way and experience the same things that I did. And as you know, because if you're watching, that means that you're also a spiritual soul. And so to some extent, you also probably feel like you could be isolated, or that somebody doesn't really understand how you feel or some of the things that you're experiencing. So when you do have somebody like that come along and really shed some light, it really is comforting. So I ignored it, of course, at 12 years old. I just went and continued and played and, lived my life. And then getting to 17 years old is when I really started to feel my first experience. Now, it was around the first time that I knew that I was communicating with someone who had departed. And so that's when I really started to harness in and listen to that energy. But of course, at 17, this isn't something that I thought I would be doing for the rest of my life. It was something that I just thought I was. And so when I'm connecting and getting messages, I just felt, again, very peaceful, very validated, very heartwarmed by it because it was never scary. And so then about 26 years old, I was pregnant with my fourth child. And we, of course, didn't know if it was going to be a boy or girl, but I had this impression of a little girl, and she came to me and kind of gave me some information about that she was a girl, that she would be coming and joining us into this earth realm, and that she would be coming on a certain month and a certain day. And of course, I thought, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And of course, true to her message, she came on the exact day that she had given me the information. So from there, it really kind of started to get more involved and more heavy as we kind of went on. And being a parent, I really used my intuition to help guide and help deliver messages and guidance to my children. So as I mentioned, we do have 5. And so now we get to share that information with all the little new grandbabies that are coming for us. And so when I decided that I was going to work in this industry and really just live my authentic purpose, which I really believe each of you should be doing, it is a very scary and difficult step. I understand. I've been there, done that, had to make the same choice. But at the end of the day, it's feeling like a relief. Like, yes, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You are living your authentic purpose. And that in itself is so rewarding. So I was about 26 when I made that decision to really start listening. But I really wasn't until my 30s in which I decided that I was going to be doing this for professional work. And I'm a claircognizant, so I get a lot of information that just kind of comes into my head, like my own thoughts and my own memories of things. And so, of course, that is the most challenging, is that your own thought? Did I know that before and now I'm just remembering it now? And so really the thoughts that come in and the messages that are interpreted and received are really quick, fast, and furious. And so it's a lot to absorb when you're first learning. And as an empath, which is my second strongest quality, you feel the way that other people feel. And so this was my biggest struggle. So any of you out there that have been looking to understand themselves more, or maybe struggling with feelings of anxiety or chronic illnesses or autoimmune disorders, those are things that I struggled with myself. And I'm very, very willing to share those personal stories because I feel like it's so helpful to understand. I feel a lot of spiritual people feel these types of ailments a lot because they're not really understanding that they're receiving energy and receiving information through that way. And so knowing that now makes you a lot more healthy. You take a lot of more accountability to these things. So really some personal growth in that area. And of course, once you start acknowledging that they're coming through and that you are getting messages, you start to feel healthier because you're in a lot more control over what information you're receiving and how you're interpreting it, if you choose to share it or if you keep it private. All of those things come with learning really who you are and what your purpose is. The main thing that I really kind of focused on was more information. So, okay, now I know that I'm experiencing these things. So where can I get information? Where can I understand? And I didn't know really anybody else who was doing it professionally. I believe I come from a long line of family members on both my father and my mother's side that are very sensitive to energy, whether they're empaths or whether they're actually receiving clairvoyant messages or claircognizant messages. And so it was never a thing to be ashamed of in my family. Like I was very, very lucky that I had so much support with friends and family. But not everybody does. And you know, you have to find that support from somewhere. So really just kind of delving into books. I had read so many books. My husband got me one that I really want to give a shout out to, Sherry Dillard. It was You Are a Medium. This book was amazing. It really captured the essence of what I was experiencing and shedding light onto it. And so I just started reading more books and more books and more books and researching, the internet and really understanding what kind of information I am getting and how to work with it. And so I guess I could say I'm a natural born medium in the sense that I just never really had to develop it from scratch. I like if I go back into time, I know that at 4 years old I was experiencing that, and of course it wasn't something that I asked for at that age or even asked for in later years. But of course, this is my life's purpose. I understand that now, and I just absolutely love that there are forums like A1R Radio and Moonstruck TV and all these different people that come out and share their wisdom each day and each week and each moment. And so I'm just very, very pleased to be part of this community. So that's enough about me. I just love sharing some things just so that people who also are experiencing, their own enlightenment and their own spiritual ascension really do understand that it's not easy for us as sensitive people. We don't just wake up and we're doing this, without any problem. It is something that we all work on and that we all struggle with, to a sense of how do I turn it off? Like I get asked that all the time. And to a point, it's hard to turn it off because if you're open and you're willing to accept messages because you know it's for someone's highest good, I mean, it is difficult to turn it off. However, there's different varying levels of that. And so, in one of my future shows, we'll talk about really how do you harness those messages and how do you protect yourself if maybe you're, somewhere where it's inappropriate to be receiving all these messages and having to filter through them. So I'm interested, down the road in sharing those tidbits. And So really, when we're looking at energy and how you're getting it, it could come anywhere. It could come at a restaurant while you're trying to eat, at the grocery store. It could come when you're visiting a friend that every other day for the last 15 years you've not had a message come through, but this particular day you do. So really filtering those things and kind of working through them. And of course, nobody wants somebody to be giving them messages all the time. So when we're talking about friends and family members, I mean, there's a certain level of boundary that I put up for those people. I don't tap into their energy. I've done a lot of making sure that there's a good, let's say, spiritual wall or protection around them, because I really do want to enjoy them and respect them as family and friends. And so unless somebody asks, they're not getting any information. And that's just the moral standard I set for myself. And of course, everybody's different. So when we're talking about energy, this is actually an amazing time of the year, because you've got, we're entering fall. And with fall comes all the energy of all the change. And so from an energetic universal energy, you've got the change. So, just as the leaves have fallen from the trees, you've got the energy that is asking us to let things fall away from our energy and our soul that we no longer need. We carry so much with us every single day. And, I always equate it to like, if you were carrying all these grocery bags and backpacks and stuff, and every time somebody you met, you got another backpack or another grocery bag, and then you got upset because something upsets us. And so you hold that as another bag. And then all of a sudden you've got like, you're being weighed down by all of these bags and all of this energy that you're carrying. Now imagine if you thought of that as the physical picture that I was creating for you. Could you imagine how far somebody could get in carrying all of those bags and all of that weight? So when we're really thinking about it, if you can put down some of those bags, those spiritual bags, you can really start to feel healthier and feel more aware and have more enlightening messages come through. Because when we are holding all of that stuff, what happens is our energy becomes a little bit more dense, and it is harder to communicate with energy. And so if we're talking about you and how you're supposed to be, maybe communicating with your loved ones or your angels, your guides, you really want to have some sense of clarity when you're getting those messages. And let's be clear, just because you put something down doesn't mean that you don't have to care about it anymore. It just means that you're letting yourself enjoy the moment that you're in. And so when you're continuing to release or hold all of those things, you definitely should be thinking about, what is this doing for me? Because really, fall reminds us, put things down, let things go. And so it's kind of an awkward time for some of us. I don't know if you listeners have thought of this or have noticed in the last few weeks, some of the energy is absolutely chaotic. And so if you're in the midst of a crossroad in your life, you're absolutely probably feeling uncomfortable. Everything probably seems like it's juggling up in the air and you don't know which way to go. That's okay. Don't worry. We're all there. I've been there too. And so all this has to do is remind us that something has to change. Because if we didn't feel uncomfortable and we didn't have the chaos that's surrounding us, we wouldn't be pushed to do something different, right? So with fall comes all of the energy about holidays. And I'm talking about Remembrance Day is just around the corner. And so when we have those energies that are coming through and really just remembering and honoring the fallen, that brings a whole bunch of energy to light as well, especially in very historical places, because you've got a lot of energy from the actual events that have occurred. Here in Canada, we just had Thanksgiving. And so the energy with that and what it stands for and represents. And so, of course, upcoming all of these different holidays for every nationality. And that brings energy. Now, we're talking about the energy that's created by us humans, which is the excitement and the joy of getting together with friends and family, or complete opposite. Maybe it's stress and worry and concern about having to come together with people. And either is absolutely normal as long as you know and accept that it is what it is. And so when you're connecting, that creates an energy in itself. So I equate that to if you've ever been to a surprise party and you're waiting to surprise this person, and then you're getting all these butterflies in your stomach and you're maybe feeling anxious and nervous. That's feeling energy of people. That's feeling the energy of an environment. And so when you have that, you really want to understand that it's not like an anxiety, like that you're experiencing anxiety. It's that you have to just be mindful that you're in an environment with lots of people and lots of energy. But on the other side, which is so fascinating, we have the energy that brings all of our loved ones. So now you've got energy that's coming through for all of the loved ones that want to attend and to be there to witness this exciting event. And the same is true for events that are more challenging for us, such as, funerals or somebody being ill and things like that, because we've all experienced that, unfortunately, with our families and loved ones. And so the energy too will enhance around those times. And so you've got your emotion, you've got the environment, and then you have the energy of the spiritual realm, which is your loved ones and angels and guides. So can you imagine how much is going on at that time of year? And you're expecting to be, even keel and everything is going great and everything goes perfect without a hitch. So I guess I challenge you this holiday season to really kind of separate what it is that you are feeling. Are you feeling on the energy of the people? Are you feeling on the energy of the environment or the event? Or are you thinking that you're feeling the energy of your loved ones that are in spirit? And so really start to identify what it is that you're picking up, because I guarantee you're going to be able to hone in on your own skills and really, really start to pick up more messages. As well, it takes some of that energy that drains us. Some people really, really thrive in the environment with lots of people and lots of love and lots of connection. And then empaths tend to retreat. So as much as they want to look and be, really excited to be around people, it's actually so physically demanding that they become very drained. And so, they may not be able to stick around for long, and that's okay. And so here are some of the things that we can do. So when we're talking about preparing for energy and how we can kind of, embrace the next several weeks, what we want to do is we want to set boundaries. Number one, it is okay to not attend every holiday party and every, dinner out. You don't have to attend something. Empaths tend to feel like they have to please other people or else they're letting them down. And to an extent, I think as long as you just explain that you're not coming, but thank you for the invite, that there are ways around it without causing an awkward moment, because empaths don't like awkward moments and they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So setting boundaries, and boundaries are amazing for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're an empath or not. Really setting boundaries is something that will help you feel like you're really living up to the expectations that you set for yourself. And when we live up to an expectation that we've set for ourselves, we don't feel disappointed or stressed or lacking. We actually feel validated and we feel like we've accomplished something. So got your boundaries set. So now what? Now you're going to look at how you protect your energy. So you're going to really kind of meditate. You're going to balance out. Maybe you want to ground. Grounding is funny. I'm actually sitting on the floor right now in my living room, and this is making me feel grounded. I feel nice and comfy and cozy. Because actually here in Niagara Falls, Canada, it's snowing right now. So I wasn't about to go outside and stand in the grass. Although, I also found the snow is very calming for me as well. Now, so anything that you do that makes you feel comfortable, maybe it's going for a drive, listening to music, having a bath, all of those things are very clearing and grounding of your energy. And if you're balanced and grounded, you can handle a lot more. And you can probably attest to that. If you've already got, everything snowballing and all of these crazy things going on in your day, it doesn't take much to send you over the edge and cause frustration or stress or, disappointment in your day when you've already got so many things in a momentum. And so if you can balance and clear that out, you can handle a lot more. So when you've got the opportunity, you're going to come home from a large group event, or maybe it's work, or maybe it's visiting one person. It doesn't matter. Whatever your energy has been expended on, you'd like to follow it up with some clearing. So I like to wash my hands with cool water after every connection that I make. It doesn't matter if I'm outside talking to a neighbor, or if I'm at, my local department store, or if I've just finished a reading. I like to wash my hands in between each reading as well. It really clears the energy. And it's a really great fix in a time when you can't actually go for a long bath or a long shower. And so any of those things are really valuable, especially in the holiday season, to kind of reboot your energy. And I think that it's so important that you just say no, just say no, set your boundaries, and then also set time frames for how long that you want to attend a certain thing, or how long that you're going to be able to engage in that energy. If you know that you can only do 3 hours, then when 3 hours comes, even if you're feeling high off the energy from the time, knowing that when you get home, you're going to kind of come down off of that and feel like an energetic hangover, so to speak. Basically, that's you pushing your limits. So kind of stick with it and make sure. Now, you also want to dissolve any cords to any energy that you have connected to. And I'm going to talk about that in later shows, and how we can do more of a clearing and a cutting or dissolving of cords very gently. And I am just absolutely so excited to share with you all of these little tips and tidbits that I've learned through the years, because it helps me so much to understand, how are other people experiencing energy? And that's why I love to hear other people's stories. I absolutely love it. And so when they show up and they share this information with me, and I can help people through spiritual growth coaching, the workshops that I offer, I really get so much more out of it than they probably do, to be honest, because you know what? I love learning and I love engaging with people, and helping somebody understand their abilities is priceless to me. It is absolutely priceless, because I understand from a very personal perspective what it felt like to be there. And I'll tell you, I don't take any interaction with somebody for granted. It doesn't matter who you are. When you cross my path, I will learn from you. And I hope that I grow better from it. And so that's why I'm here. And that's why I've decided that I'm going to do light work. And this is what really just gives me the love in my heart to be able to share with you the stuff that I've learned and the information I get. So primarily as a medium, I connect to people who have departed. And so I hold a very, very high ethical standard for myself and how I share information with people's loved ones. So I don't like to rush. I really like to give people the time that they need to hear the messages. I do evidential mediumship, so I like to provide validating key facts about their loved ones so that they know who I'm speaking of. So because of this, this does take a lot of energy out of me, of course, and anybody out there who also does medium type readings. But what I am able to really kind of gain out of it is that I'm giving. So it doesn't matter how much energy it takes and how long the session goes. I really just need to make sure that that message is delivered. And so I really absolutely feel like if you want more information about that and how I connect, then please visit my website at amber-price.com for more information. And I'm going to be talking in the coming weeks about protection of energy, how energy and emotion might be different, because I hear the words, I have anxiety and I feel anxious, or I'm picking up energy. So I really want to separate what those things are. And this is something that I feel like is something that the people in my workshop really, really love. And this is helping them to become more grounded. And so as you approach your holiday season and as you continue to move through fall season, know that you have lots of resources around you and you can reach out at any time, and that you're not alone. You have validation, you have backup. And so thank you so much for allowing me to join this beautiful community on A1R Radio and Moonstruck TV. I am so excited to be here and share this information with you. And in the coming weeks, we'll get into really some cool topics and deep information. And hopefully where you are, it's not snowing so much, because right now it's still snowing. So, and maybe next time when I see you, I will be able to share that I have a brand new grandson on the way, because he's due any day now. And so we're anxiously awaiting that. Perfect timing. So thank you so much. And I absolutely want to challenge you to that energy challenge that I gave you. And I'd love to hear your feedback about it.
listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television. Welcome. Time for the Ask Rebecca radio show with Rebecca Russo. Live from AskRebecca.guru. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-31 8147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Psychic Radio.
Or one of our websites,
AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is the Ask Rebecca Radio Show on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Rebecca Radio Show. Thanks for joining me. I hope everyone had a great week. It's been a pretty powerful one. On Monday, November 11th, we had Mercury transiting over the sun, which only happens once every 13 years. And this transit typically is a powerful one connected to increasing abundance. Plus, we also had 11/11, which is a powerful activation, and we had a full moon, so there's all kinds of stuff going on planetary-wise. And physically, you may have gone from sleeplessness and an abundance of energy to feeling maybe more lethargic and feeling more sleepy, or it could be the opposite, right? Vice versa. So if you've been sleeping really well and now you're up, right? So it's one of the two scenarios there. You may also have been experiencing ringing in the ears or other ear stuff, and that might continue on for a couple of weeks, along with colds and body aches. And today is the last day of the self-existing moon of form. So for the last 28 days, you may have been doing a lot of self-examination, a lot of self-reflection, figuring out what's next for you, figuring out what you don't want, what you do want, kind of sifting through your life and yourself and really just examining everything. You may have been questioning or have had uncertainty surrounding finances, love life, self-esteem. You may have been looking at your spending habits, or maybe the feeling of lack. So you're noticing where there's restrictions and you're not feeling abundant. Or maybe money has been flowing for you and you've been really feeling freedom when it comes to being financially stable. And possibly some commitment issues could have come up in different ways, whether related to romantic relationships or committing to, your business or your job, your career, your life, any kind of commitment issues, and as well as the self-esteem issues. And probably a bunch of other stuff that I'm not mentioning here. And it would have affected probably every area of your life, but I suspect probably love was a big thing over the last month. Mercury, geez, I cannot talk. I'm sleepy. I feel like I could go to bed right now. Mercury will be going direct around November 20th, which could have you seeing a change in plans or a shift in direction